Hey, what's up, guys? I know it's been a few weeks here. Basically, I've just been collecting parts and cleaning things up and painting some stuff. And if you see behind me, the bed of the truck is not on the truck. It's because I decided that, this thing's not going to be a garage queen, and I want to be able to drive it in the wintertime and stuff. And it's pretty rust-free, so I'd like to try and keep it that way as long as possible. So I undercoated the entire bed, got inside there, got inside the fenders of it. Front fenders are off the truck. I need to get a few more cans of undercoating before I can do those, but I figure if I clean up all the rust off of those and off of that, undercoat the whole bottom side, top side, protect it all, should prevent quite a bit of rust. I did end up having to take the motor to the machine shop. Reason for that being I flipped it over, and when I looked at the other side of the cam bearings, well, they were just as shitty as the rest of the engine. The guy at the machine shop said it looked like there's some gunk had gone through the motor. I don't know. This thing, I did put it together, and it sat in my garage for 6-8 months before I had a project to put it in. So it's very possible it was full of crud, and I just didn't get it clean enough before putting it back together. I'm no professional. I just, slapped it together in my garage and went from there. So I did have new cam bearings put in it. He did run a hone down the cylinders. He said they were very tapered, pretty common in the aluminum blocks to have a little bit of a taper in the sleeves. So he did run a hone through them, got them straight, got them looking good. I haven't even pulled this apart yet, so I was just kind of waiting before I was, got all my parts. I ordered a bunch of new stuff for this thing because I don't want it to have any problems. And this box right here, this cost me like $900, give or take. So, figure we'll kind of go through it together. ARP rod bolts. Got these because technically the rod bolts that come in a GM, an LS engine, are a torque to yield style bolt. So, a lot of people get away with reusing them, but I'm trying to build something that's reliable, not something that just runs a 10-second pass. So I want to build something that's reliable, and eventually I would like to boost this thing. So got the ARP rod bolts, and here's the really, really expensive part. ARP head studs. Those things, they are very proud of them. They're very, very expensive, but I figured I was getting ARP rod bolts, so I might as well go ahead and do this, which really seems like overkill considering I'm still using the stock pistons and rods, but whatever. At least these are reusable, so if I take the engine back apart, I don't have to buy new bolts. I can reuse these. ARP main studs, again, not necessary, but instead of spending another $100 on main bolts again, because I bought new main bolts with this when I rebuilt it the first time, I could probably get away with reusing them, but I want it to last. So the ARP main bolts, another couple $100. I ended up getting hardened push rods. The first time I put this together, I didn't actually use hardened push rods. I had no issues with the stock push rods, but I kind of don't want to have issues with that at 6,000 RPMs, doing burnouts and stuff. I want this thing to hold together because I have quite a heavy foot. As you guys will see in previous videos, and well, there's definitely going to be a lot more videos of me screwing around. Another thing I got, new rod and main bearings. Nothing really exciting here. These are twice as expensive as the ones that I put in previously, which I've had nothing but bad luck with the ones I've put in previously. I spun 2 rod bearings in my old GTO twice and put it back together, and it would run for 10,000 miles and then spin rod bearings again. So this time I went with some nicer of these Cleve. Another thing I got, which this is kind of interesting, maybe I'll show you, but this piece right here. Some of you might know what this is, but for some of you that don't, here I'll kind of spell this out. Basically, on your LS style oil pump, you got your oil pump, goes down into the engine, you know. Then this is down in there. This is the pickup tube. Well, it goes in to the oil pump like that. And if you look, there's only one bolt that holds it in place. Well, what this does, see if I can do this with one hand. What this does is girdles the actual pickup tube. So you put both bolts in, then you bolt this down on the other side, and it keeps it from being able to walk around in there. I also did get a new O-ring for this thing, because that is maybe one of the problems I was having. I don't know, but they do recommend that you replace the O-ring every single time you pull that thing apart. So that is a Melling high volume oil pump. I'm gonna be tearing that apart to check it out, and if it looks worn inside at all, I'm gonna buy a new one. I would just prefer not to, because I'm about $1,000 deep into this already, and I still haven't even bought the transmission parts. So, you know, without further ado, let's unwrap this thing and see how she looks. See if I can find my blade I had. Just grab a new one. Oh. All right, let's take a closer look. Flashlight. Yeah, that ended up looking really good. I mean, you can still see some of the scoring down in there. The guy at the machine shop said it. There's only so much you can do, but hopefully it does its job. It does still look pretty gnarly in there. I don't know. What do you guys say? I think I should just send it, because at this point, you can't really feel that scoring. I mean, you can see it pretty well in there. And there's like a little bit of a mark, but I think it'll be fine. I think it'll bed in. And brand new cam bearings. I don't know if you can see those very well, but you know, this thing's gonna look good when we're done. They cleaned it all up. They put it in their tank. So I know that it's going to be good. Same with the crank. I had them polish it just to make sure. And they made sure they measured it. Everything looked good, so I can use my standard rod and main bearings. I didn't have to oversize it all. So, you know, I think my goal for today was to maybe start putting it together. And I think we'll start with putting the crank in. So without further ado, let's get started on that. Hey, what's up, guys? Sitting here editing that video, and I realized I didn't have an outro, so here I am. I just figured I'd film one here. I kind of give you a quick rundown of what you saw in the video. I was putting my main studs in, putting the crank in, kind of starting to assemble the short block. Tomorrow's video, or tomorrow, I'll get to put the pistons in the block and making sure everything fits there. I did check ring gap, but I didn't film it because, frankly, it takes forever. But all my ring gaps were good. I gapped them a little large, in anticipation for boost in the future, but should work just fine for NA too. I'm gonna, just keep plugging away, putting the engine together. Once I get the pistons in, it'll probably sit for a few days. Hopefully this next weekend, I'll have all the parts. I had to order an oil pump. I had to order some lifters. I'll kind of explain that in the next video. Other than that, everything's going together pretty smoothly. Everything's clean. I did find a few things that I fucked up on. So just more evidence as to why my engine was chewed up on the inside like it was. And I'll kind of explain that in a future video as well. But hopefully by this weekend I'll be dropping the engine back in the truck. I did get the engine bay painted, so that should look really nice once that's all reassembled. And then once I get that all reassembled, I'll probably start the engine up, just kind of see what it sounds like, give you guys a taste of what it sounds like with the cam that it's got, and it's got kind of a bass tune in it right now, so it should run okay. Other than that, I do still need to order the parts for my transmission. That's coming. Hopefully that'll happen probably after Christmas, because Christmas season, you gotta buy a bunch of people gifts when you would rather buy car parts. So other than that, I did get the bed completely undercoated. I probably used an entire case of undercoating on it. It looks fantastic. I'm going to get that bolted back on the truck. I'm going to do the same thing to the front fenders and get them completely undercoated, and get that all put back together, get the wheel liners put back in, get the interior put back together, make sure I have dual widebands on the truck, hopefully make sure that all ends up looking nice. And then once that's all said and done, I'll get the parts for the transmission, get that put back in, and then this thing should be good to go. It should be good to drive. What I'd really like to do is I'd really like to find a topper. So if any one of you knows where I can find a really nice looking topper, something that fits the look of the truck, obviously. I want a sportier style topper. I really want a topper for this truck. My wife thinks I'm stupid, but I really want a topper for this truck. I think it would go with the theme I'm going for, because I'd just love to have this little lowered truck with a topper on it. For some reason, that's what I picture for this thing. I still don't have a name for it, so if anybody's got any good names, please feel free to suggest something to me. If it speaks to me, it'll probably end up being the name of the truck. Other than that, I know this is kind of a mundane series of videos watching me build the thing. Once I'm putting the engine back in, I'll try to explain it for those of you that have Colorado trucks and are trying to do a V8 swap. I'll try to do my best to kind of describe what I went through and the different issues that I had found in my swap that I did. Mine was a little easier because it was an 09 and I was able to buy factory GM V8 parts. A lot of those factory V8 parts will work for the 04 through 08 trucks, but some of them won't either. Like mine was easy because I was able to use the factory ECM, the factory throttle pedal, and then the factory ignition switch as well. I was able to just basically tune it with that stuff in there. And one of the struggles I had found that was when I did it that way, I actually had to have it factory tuned or I had to have the factory computer flashed by GM in order to make it work. But once I figured that out, that only took me 6 months. That was a very frustrating deal. I was ready to sell the truck. But I'm glad I didn't. Glad I got that ironed out. Now it's just a matter of getting mechanical issues fixed. So once this is fixed, I imagine I won't have any more problems. I'm making sure this is going together really nice, and hopefully I won't have any more problems. But I will go into more detail as to what wiring harness I ended up using, why I had to change the chassis harness when I did, stuff like that. And if you have any questions about doing the V8 swap on the Colorados or the Canyons, you know, just ask me. I'm always available. You want to hit me up on Facebook, you want to hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram is the random car guy. Or just comment on my YouTube videos. I get every one of those, and I do my best to answer every single one I got. I will answer every question you have. I will definitely try to help you out as much as I can. I'm no expert, but I have learned a lot in doing this swap. It's the first actual LS swap I've done. I did a lot of work on my old GTO. You'll see some of the videos of the GTO I used to have on my channel, just a few videos I had kind of when I started my channel to throw on there and put a little content out. If you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe. I promise there's going to be more videos in the future. I have an SRT8 Jeep that's going to get some love in here in the next year or so. It's probably going to be getting a cam and maybe even a blower. That should be fun, because that sucker is already stupid fast. So I'm really excited with where this is going, and you know, I watch a lot of YouTube videos myself and a lot of builds, and I really just like watching guys build stuff and do stupid shit with their cars. So hopefully you guys do too. Hopefully my content doesn't suck, and you guys subscribe to my channel so we can see future videos. Thanks.